Oracle has quietly changed how their Docker images work, and if you follow old tutorials, you'll get errors. Most issues come down to using the wrong image, the wrong command, or missing one small setting. This is Oracle database running on Windows using the current official image. I'll walk through the exact setup step by step so you can avoid these mistakes and get straight to writing SQL. To get started, we need to download the Docker application. This is freely available from the Docker website at docker.com. Once the website has loaded, click on Get Started. On the Get Started page, there are several options. Click on Docker Desktop. The other two options, Docker Hub and Play with Docker, are not needed for our process. Select the right version for your computer, which is either of the two Mac versions or a Windows version. I'm on Windows for this video, so I'll click my Windows version. If you're on Mac, the process should be similar. The Docker setup file will then begin downloading. It's about 580 megabytes, which could take a few minutes to download. Once the download is complete, install it. This can be done by opening the file and following the installation steps on Windows. It takes a couple of minutes to install. Once it is installed, you can run it. This will cause the Docker service to start. Now we've got Docker running, it's time to get our database files. If you want a free PDF with all the steps to set up Oracle on Docker, you can get it at the link in the description. The files that Docker uses to run applications are called images, which are a pre-built collection of files. Normally, these images are available on a website called Docker Hub. However, Oracle has removed their image from Docker Hub and has added it to its own container registry. Let's look at how we can get the image from there. Go to the container registry URL, which is container-registry.oracle.com. On this page, you might see this immediate action required banner, unless Oracle has removed it. This message basically means we can't use our Oracle password to log into the container registry to run a Docker or Podman login command, and we need to use an auth token. I'll show you how to do this when we get to that step. On this page, click on the database entry. On this database page, you can select one of many services that Oracle offers. For this example, we'll use the free database, so scroll down and click on Free. There are a few other editions shown here. The Express edition is an older edition of the Oracle database, and as of version 23, the Express edition is now called Free. So we can just use this free edition. The next page shows the details of the image, including the limitations, connection details, and commands. As of the time of recording, this is version 26. There are two different options for this image, full and light. The full image is the full database, and light is a much smaller version with fewer features. Further down on this page is a list of features that are not included in this light edition. For this demo, I'll use the light version as I don't think we need any of these features for the basics of SQL. But you can use the full version if you need these. Now, in order to use this image, we need to accept the license agreement. And to do this, we need to log in using our Oracle account. You can create an account if you don't have one. Click on the Sign In button on this section on the right. If you have an account, enter your username and password. If not, you can create one using the Create Account at the bottom. Once you log in, you may see a pop-up to accept the license agreement. If so, read it and scroll to the bottom and click Accept. I don't see it because I have already accepted it a while ago. The main page will reload and will display that the agreement is accepted. The pages suggest Podman commands, but you can run the same commands with Docker. Open the command prompt on your computer. We need to log into the container registry to download the image. So in your terminal, log in to the Oracle container using Docker login. You'll be prompted for your username, so enter your Oracle username and press Enter. For the password, this is no longer your Oracle account password. If you try to log in with this, you'll get this error, auth failed. Remember that auth token thing we mentioned earlier in the video? We need that. So go back to the Oracle Container Registry page and click on your email address on the top right, then click Auth Token. This shows your username and a button to generate a secret key. Click this button and a secret key is generated but hidden from view, like this. Click the Copy Secret Key button and it will be copied to the clipboard. You may want to store this in your password manager or somewhere secure as you won't see it again here. Then paste this into the command prompt in the password section. You won't see the characters appear, but that is okay. Press Enter and it should log in successfully. Oracle provides 2 tags or versions for the database image. The tag latest is the full image that includes everything you need. The tag latest-light is the smaller light version we mentioned earlier. First, we're going to pull the image from the registry. Run this command to download the official image from the registry. This command pulls the latest Oracle database free image and stores it locally so you can start containers from it. If you see access denied, double-check that you've accepted the license agreement. If you see access denied, double-check that you've accepted the license in the registry and logged in using Docker login. If you get this error about default daemon and Docker client, it could be because Docker isn't running. You can resolve this by running Docker desktop, which starts this Docker process. I'll open Docker desktop and start it, which takes about a minute. Once it's running, it should look like this, probably with nothing in this list here. Go back to the command prompt and run that pull command again, and it should work. The image should start downloading like this. Once it's complete, you'll be back at the command prompt. Now we'll start the container with a password and the standard Oracle ports. This will allow us to connect to the database. This is the command we will use. It's the docker run command with a bunch of parameters. I've added it to VS Code so it's easier to see and edit, and then I'll paste it into the command prompt. The command runs a new container named Oracle Free. It maps port 1521 for SQL connections, which allows you to connect to the database using 1521. It also sets your initial system password, which is my password in this example. Feel free to change this to something else if you like. This is the password we will use later in the video to log in using our SQL editor. Notice there are 2 dashes before the name parameter. If you add a single dash, then you'll get an error. This command is now ready. I'll copy this and paste it on the command prompt and then run it. After a little while, it should be successful. The Oracle database may take a minute or so to start up. We can check the status by running this docker ps command. We should see the container name of Oracle Free, which is the name we just specified in the earlier command. The status column is the one to keep an eye on. It will say starting for a minute or so, and then it should say healthy when it's ready. You can rerun this docker ps command every so often to get the latest status. Once it says healthy, we are ready to connect. Now we'll connect to the database. You can use any SQL editor you like, such as SQL Developer or SQLCL. In this video, I'll use the SQL Developer extension by Oracle. I have a separate video on how to set this up on my channel. Once you have VS Code open, click on this icon to open the SQL Developer extension. Create a new connection. Then we'll enter the settings for our Docker container. For the name, I'll call it Oracle Docker 26, but you can call it whatever you like. For the role, we used to have to set this as sysdba, but we can leave it as default. I'll set it to sysdba to see what happens. The user is system. The password is whatever you set the password to in the Docker run step. For me, this was my password. The hostname is localhost. The port is 1521. The type is service name. The service is FreePDB1, which is the default pluggable database for this Oracle database. Then I'll click on Test and I'll get an error about an incorrect username or password. We can change that role back to default and try to test again. This time the connection test has passed. Click Save and the connection is saved. We can connect to this database by right-clicking on the connection and clicking Connect. The icon should change to indicate it is now connected. So far, so good. Let's run a simple SQL statement to see what happens. We can select the sysdate function to see the current date. In older versions of Oracle, we needed to add the from dual keyword. However, we don't need to do that anymore, so this should work. We run this statement and see the current date here. This database is now working. We can create tables and add data to it or whatever we need to do. Next, you will probably want to create a new user so you can create objects as someone other than the system user. You can do that with a create user command just like any Oracle database. If you'd like a reference for this entire setup process that you can keep and refer to, download the free PDF guide with all these steps. It's linked in the description and makes it easy to follow this process again later. You've just installed Docker, signed up and logged into the Oracle Container Registry, chosen the right image, pulled and ran the container and connected to it to test some SQL. Now that your Oracle database is running, you'll want to watch this video next to learn more about the SQL Developer extension. Thanks for watching.